We're live now, visually
We're
and
live
audibly.
visually and audibly. So you
Yes.
want me to check that? I can
Sure.
hear us.
If you can hear us, then that
Yeah,
means we're live.
sounds good. I look a bit. Oh my God. Oh, very good. Oh, I love our setup. Before we get started, everyone, I just have to say Marcus set up this whole thing and it looks amazing. We look like a proper TV station. Way more legit than we really are, I think. Hey, Vanishing Age. Hello, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. So, we are going to just shortly get into our extra special live episode 69,
Mm-hmm.
air horns, weed, I don't know,
I'm not
whatever.
professional enough to have sound effects, though. I don't have
Yeah,
that.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I was thinking we should have like animated GIFs of like little weed symbols
Oh,
floating
I
around.
wish.
Yeah, we're not that high tech yet. Maybe by episode 169, we'll have all that tech set up.
Okay.
But yeah, so we will be starting the live recording of the episode very shortly. Just wanted to say hello to everyone and let you know that since we're doing this special live stream today, we will be responding to folks in the chat. So if you have some comments or questions throughout the episode, I'll be checking that and we'll make sure to get them in there if it's relevant. If you just want to say, hey, you guys are so cool, like we'll read it and appreciate it, but we might not say that on air. Yeah. Hey, Linda
Your
Witt.
mom's
Hello.
here.
Hey, my mom's here. Everybody say hi to my mom. Hi. You can see our professional operation here. We're doing this episode 69 on Friday the 13th, so it's extra exciting. Hello, Jake Reitnor. Hello,
He,
hello.
hardcore gamer friend.
Oh, hello, hardcore gamer representative here for Marcus. Yeah, this is very exciting. So I think we'll get right into it in a second
Everyone's like,
here.
hi,
Are
mom.
you ready? Or is it what?
Your mom is everyone's mom.
Hi, hi. Mom is now the Chick Pixel mom, my biggest
Mm-hmm.
fan. Uh,
Yay.
yes. So, anything else we should mention before we get into it? Yes, so we will be taking questions, comments throughout the stream. If you want to react to something we're talking about, I'll be checking it. And yeah, if it's relevant, we'll put it in there. Nobody who's listening to the podcast feed will obviously hear this now, but we
Mm-hmm.
will be posting the audio only version. If you have to duck out, have to miss part of the stream, don't worry. It will be in the feed as usual. Okay, without further ado, shall we do it?
Yes, let's get into it.
Yes. All right. I gotta do the intro. So, hey everybody, you're listening to Pixel, where the X is silent. Our love for games most definitely isn't. I can't do this live. I'm not used to it. We're here for episode 69, of course. And I am one of your hosts, Anne. With me, as always, is the very lovely Marcus. Hey, Marcus, how are you?
I'm doing well.
We're both doing good today. It's very exciting to be live on stream, so we couldn't be better, except for the fact that I had to wake up early this morning.
Sorry.
It's Saturday morning. It's okay. I'll do it. I'll do it for the love of podcasting. Normally we record a bit later in my day, but I woke up first thing Saturday morning to do this at a good time for the rest of the world because I think most of our audience is in the US. I think that's safe to say. So yeah, but it's okay. So let's get into it. So, Marcus, let me look at my show notes. That would be helpful.
A little.
You, yeah, you've been doing some stuff. So I'll let you go first.
Okay.
What have you been up to lately?
Yeah. So, my typical writing stuff. I put together another article called "Checking the Score," which is where I cover like game soundtracks, right? And the current one is WarioWare soundtracks. Just WarioWare, all the WarioWares,
All of them
all of them.
in order.
Yes, yes. Because the
Okay.
new one is coming out next month, right? So I
Yes.
was like,
Yeah.
I'll use an excuse. I'll talk about WarioWare, and so I did. And that's usually how I choose my games. Like, is there something coming out that's related to a soundtrack that I like, and then I'll try to cover it like that. So I did that. That's not up yet. Probably will be soon. But I like that. And so another thing I did or tried to do was play an online game with Capsule J. This is not in Media Minutes because we didn't actually get to play anything.
Right. It didn't even make it to immediate minutes. It was an attempt. You went too quickly though. I wanted to talk about
Oh yeah, go
WarioWare,
ahead.
and then you're just like, I'm gonna
Okay,
keep
fine.
going.
Tell him. Ask me
Steamroll
whatever.
through it. Oh no, now we've got folks in the chat talking about jamming with Jimmy and WarioWare, which
Yeah,
is a reference I don't get.
there's characters, and
But
one of them is Jimmy.
does he make music? Is
They
that
all the
why?
different characters have like their own theme songs and styles,
Uh,
right? Have you ever played
right.
WarioWare?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I played the Wii one. Like
Smooth moves,
that's
yeah.
about, yeah. And I can't say I remember any of the music because when I think in my head, like, oh, what does WarioWare music sound like? I immediately think of Rhythm
Heaven,
Heavens.
different game, good music,
But is
different
it
game.
like that kind of, is it, but it's not rhythm
It's
based,
not a
so
rhythm
just,
game.
but the music's good,
The
is what
music's
you're saying.
fun, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I really like the
And what's the
character.
first
Whoa.
game? What's first, what? Whoa, are we
Go
okay?
ahead. What's the first one? What?
WarioWare.
The first one
What?
was on Game Boy Advance. WarioWare Mega Micro Games.
Okay, okay. Clearly, I'm not a WarioWare aficionado.
That's
But
okay.
so we're expecting there to be good music in the next one, is the
I think
thought.
so. Yeah, it's good. It's
Okay.
Nintendo. You know they got skills.
Yes.
Um, yes. So now I'm gonna move back to me trying
Okay.
to make a game work and not being able to, which is what I tried to do last weekend, which was
Mhm.
so I have Xbox Game Pass on PC, right? And that is you can play all the games on it. And I was gonna play a game with Capsule J actually, uh, using the Game Pass on PC to play something there, and it didn't work. You know, I
Mhm.
tried. You know, you host the game, I host the game. We couldn't connect. Like, what's going on here? And then there's an Xbox networking tool that you can like run, and it turned out when we both ran it, we both had errors. One, it was like you can't, you know, there's no network connection to the Microsoft networks, Xbox Live, um, and we're like, okay, well that's obviously the issue. We're not able to get this connectivity going, so obviously we won't even be able to play any games together until we fix it.
Mhm.
So
Right, right.
we're both like in a
What?
call, like sharing links to articles and trying these different things, and it didn't matter. We couldn't do it. Couldn't do it in the end. It was like an hour.
So nothing works, and you don't know why.
I had the same issue before, and I resolved it before,
But the
but
same
I
method
don't know
did
what I
not work.
did. I don't know what I did
Oh,
before.
you couldn't
Um,
retrace your steps and do the
no,
same thing again. Oh no.
yeah, and I tried, and I did eventually get it to get rid of the errors, but
Mhm.
Capsule J could not, in the end, get rid of the errors. And he
So
didn't
is
have
this
this
the
problem
only?
before. He did not have this problem before ever.
So he's played online with other people.
Yes, and with me before.
Oh
So
yeah,
I was
that's
like, I don't
weird.
know what happened. I thought maybe it had something to do with a recent Windows update, but
Yeah.
no idea. And while I was potentially able to resolve it, he wasn't able to resolve it. So I have no idea, but it's annoying and awful, and it required us going into opening command prompt, writing things, writing commands, opening what is some other stuff? PowerShell. I went into Windows PowerShell.
I don't even know what that is. That's beyond
Updated
me.
the registry, which is something you probably don't want to do normally, because that could be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing or
Oh
feel
wow,
comfortable.
the lengths you're
Um,
going. Capsule J is in the chat saying he's so salty that you spent an hour trying to fix it with no success. Yeah, that's a really long time. And like
yes,
both of you like know what you're doing. So like think
generally,
of the delay, man, trying to get this
yeah.
to work.
It
That's
was
not good.
also there's a button on the networking thing that says like fix it, and you press the button, the fix it button, and nothing. It didn't do anything. I'm like, this does this ever work? Does the fix it button ever work? No.
Probably.
So I don't know what the root cause was. We went to like to try to install drivers. Anyway, it was just a big thing, and I hate it, and I don't know why it's like this because Steam doesn't have the same weird thing that you have to use to play online. as far as I
Yeah.
know.
Huh.
So
Did you
just
say what game you're trying to play? I don't think you did.
well, we were just trying to play the Ascent, which came out recently.
Interesting.
Um,
The uh, the Ascent. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I heard
and
about that
but it would have been a problem with any online game that we tried to play on PC through Xbox Game Pass because it's all using Xbox networking thing. Ooh, drink.
one. Ooh, coffee delivery.
Yes. Oh, Capsule J
Oh,
saying, yeah, if two engineers couldn't fix it, I don't know how anyone could.
yeah, really. Yeah. What
uh,
is everyone else supposed to do?
yeah,
And Gary
it's
Krebs says, "Did you try turning it off and on again?" The solution
yeah.
might
There you
be there.
go. Yes, I mean my computer is off and on. The router. I know Capsule J had his routers on off and on, but he had his own other unrelated networking issues. So
That's weird.
it was a
But that
mess. And no, we were
so
not using dial up.
is that different from how like we've played Sea of Thieves
That would
together?
have been on this, and so like I said, I fixed it before,
Yeah.
but it came back.
Hmm. Hmm. So Vanishing Age is saying, I have a friend who has Sea of Thieves on Steam, and it's such a production to get everything going so we could play together. So that's Steam and Xbox, I assume, because I think Vanishing Age is on the Xbox Live. What is it called again? Not Xbox. A Game Pass? I don't know.
I don't know about game. I don't know about Sea of Thieves specifically because that's a Microsoft game specifically, right? So there might be
Oh, so
even if it's on Steam, it's still using Microsoft Network. I don't know. I don't know.
hmm
All I could say is it was a mess, and I'm annoyed that we
hmm
didn't get to play a game
And you didn't play it. So did you play? I assume you didn't play the Ascent
by
otherwise
myself.
because
No,
okay, you
I
were
just was
like,
like,
I'm
I
so
hate this.
mad.
I'm
I'm just
done.
over it.
It's over. Xbox Game Pass is over.
That's it. Well, speaking of, it's over for me because I finally canceled my subscription
Okay.
because I'm not playing
Yep.
anything, and I keep wanting to. Sorry if you can hear the dog getting fed in the background here.
All good.
Um, Yeah, I had it. I mean, if I'm going to jump on and play Sea of Thieves, I know Vanishing Age I used to play, but I
Mm-hmm.
just had have it going over for months and months, and I'm like, I'm not playing anything. I want to play A Short Hike is on there, and there's a bunch
Yes.
of stuff. I think Spiritfarer is also on
Yes, it
there, and
is.
so I keep saying I'm gonna do it, but then I never get around to it, and I'm paying like $10 a month,
Mm-hmm.
Australian. So I was like, no, I'm gonna cut myself off until I actually get around to playing something.
Good
So
plan.
yeah,
Yeah, just
it's
when
over
you're
for
ready
me
to
too.
play, you're like, I'm gonna play a short hike right now, then resubscribe.
Yeah. It's still a much better deal than like A Short Hike is like $5 or $10 on Switch, which is where I would want to play it. But I could get Game Pass for $10 and have a whole month of gaming anything I want?
Mm-hmm. And then you're choosing to play nothing.
Yep. Council J says maybe I'll play it when the Steam Deck comes out. Whenever it comes out in Australia, who knows? It's gonna be 2025 by the time it comes out. By the time I can actually get one anyway. I don't
Mm.
know. But yeah, I can always resubscribe later on. So, oh
Mm-hmm.
no, Linda Witt is having reception issues. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Aww.
which could be a problem. I used to have such issues. Remember, I couldn't even stream things. It would be like
Yes.
constantly buffering. And thank God for NBN, the fast internet here. Very
Yes.
grateful for that. Yeah, so hopefully, I mean, we didn't ask, but I'm hoping everyone's okay with our stream, the audio levels and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But let us know if there's any technical issues and we'll try to get it fixed. Marcus will try to get it fixed because he's doing everything. I'm just sitting here hosting,
Yep.
and that's it. But anyway, so it's time for me to talk about what I've been working on, and I can finally share. Well, as
Yes.
you all know, you know by now, that was like, go watch that all access stream. You got to be there. Make sure to watch it live because I was on it. So, yeah, I they invited me on, which is very sweet of them to have me talk about the four new Otome games that were announced. And because the stream was at like 9 a.m. your time, Marcus, I think. Some
Yeah,
really
something
early
like that.
hour. Yeah, and I'm like asleep. I think it was 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Australian time, and I was kind of like thinking like, will I wake up and like join? And I was like, no way. There's no way I can like be coherent at 2 a.m. So I was just like, no, I don't think I'll be able to join live. But we could do this recording. So actually, I think that was Sammy's idea. It was very kind of him to suggest that we record a segment beforehand and then he would run it during the show. So I did some research on the four games that were announced, which I will say now. So we've got Paradigm Paradox, Lover Pretend, Kimi Yuki. So that's Kimi no, oh gosh, Kimi wa Yukima ni Koi Negao is the full name. And of course, Pio Fiori Episodio 1926. So I feel like a proper, PR person now. I did all this research on all these games because I was like, oh, I can't keep them straight. Especially for some reason, Lover Pretend and Paradigm Paradox. I guess it's because it's like two-word names. For some reason, I keep confusing them. So anyway, it's fine. But yeah, so I did a bunch of research on those. Like I've been aware of them, but I didn't know like all the voice actors and things, and had some info that I could talk about during the stream. And just because if you watch the stream, they played the trailers, announced the games, but the trailers were all in Japanese, so they need to talk about like what you just saw, especially for people that aren't familiar with the games. So yeah, got to talk about for that for a while with Sammy. We recorded the segment. He edited it very nicely. Unfortunately, cut out like all of our Seiyu voice actor talk. We had like additional 20 minutes of chatting that I think got cut from the final version, and they may release that. I'm not sure. Otherwise, I'll just keep it in my back pocket for when they need me to talk about games again, and then I can talk about all these voice actors that I took notes on. So if you haven't seen that, I actually did a post on my site with a link to like the exact timestamp where I appear on the stream, so you can jump to that and just watch it if you want to watch me talk about the games. Otherwise, you can watch the whole stream and see all of the announcements. So as always, I'll leave a link in the show notes. I feel funny saying that when we're live, but there will be links in the show notes also to Marcus's WarioWare post about the music. So you can check that after the show on the website when the episode is posted for those links. Marcus, I haven't gotten your reaction to the All Access stream. Which of these Otome games are you most excited for?
I'm most excited for, I think it's Paradigm Paradox.
Mm.
That's the
I
one
think I know why. Yeah.
That's the one where it's got the guys and they're like magical girls, or they transform into magical girls, right? I'm like, okay, I think that's so cool, and that feels very different from
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
used to for Otome games.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, cool. And I thought it was interesting because it's like, oh, they could have made them like magical boys, but no, they're just literally they're magical girls. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm down for that for sure. I also am interested in Lover Pretend, but Paradigm Paradox is absolutely the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
right
The
now for
one.
me.
Yes, that looks very fun. I'm very excited for that. And there are like 8 characters,
Hmm.
so it's like a really big cast. And instead of having like the male voice actors do the voices when they're in the girl magical girl mode, they have female voice actors that do those roles. So you've got like, 24 famous voice actors. And oh, got someone spamming in the chat. I don't know if we can mod that out, but anyway, we don't want to be famous. We're already famous. They don't know us. Yeah. So, what's the thing? Yes, 24 voice actors. I remember when I was looking up the female voice actors, because I don't follow them as closely as the male voice actors. There's one who is Amelia in, oh, what's the name of that? I don't know why I can't remember the name of the show. Very famous anime. Oh, someone in the chat might remember.
I haven't a clue.
Yeah, I know, Marcus, you're not here to back me up. I don't know, why can't I? Now I'm mad. You know when you think of something
3-0
and
says
it's
Capsule
like,
J.
yes, yes, 3-0. I knew somebody would say me. Thank you, Capsule J. Yes, 3-0. Yeah, Amelia is like the main girl, I think,
Hmm.
in that. Obviously, I haven't seen it, but I was like, oh, well, that's a pretty big voice actor. So it's cool to see, a lot of female voice actors get represented in a Otome game because, of
Hmm.
course, you don't really even have like the protagonist get voiced
Yeah.
a lot of the time. So. Yeah, that one should be fun. I do have to say, because I did do a fair bit of research on these games, that what I've read from like the Japanese reviews and feedback on that one, there's not as much romance in it. That is more of like fun story heavy
Mhm.
game, but not so heavy on the romance, which I think you can kind of assume a lot of time when you get these really big casts that you're not going to be able to get as much as that like in-depth love story. But I think the idea is so fun, the gender bending magical girl stuff. I'm excited. And yeah, so Ever Pretend with the art and the voice actors. I'm very excited for that one. Kimi Yuki looks really good. Like, actually, that's one that I was not as interested in because I don't really like historical stuff. I just got to say it. Like, Hakuoki is really not one of my favorite Otome games. So when I see historical stuff, I'm kind of like, all right, all right. If the voice actors are good or the art's good, then I'll check it out. But reading about all the voice actors and Kimi Yuki, I was like, oh, dang, it's like all these big names. And of course, I can't think of any off the top of my head right now. I'm sure Barry Cripps is going to be like, rattling them off in the chat. Yeah. Wow. Barry Krebs says she was genuinely planning to import Kimiyuki that very day. Good thing you held off. Vanishing Age is also here for historical. So I'm glad that there's some folks that like the historical stuff and it does very well. So, it just one of my weird things is that I'm more into the modern stuff or like non-historical fantasy, also very good. Um, but yes, so I'm now looking forward to that after I did all the research on it. And Pio Fiore, I still haven't played the original, so because I need to do that. It has
Mhm.
Morikubo Shotaro in it, so I don't know why. Haven't made it a priority, but games take time to play. Did you know?
Yeah, I'm very aware.
What is it? Cafe Enchante came out last October, I think. It took me like 6 months, probably 6 months to finish the whole thing. So, and I finally finished Color Malice, and that took
Mhm.
me yeah, at least 6 months too to do. So, I should have enough time to play Pio Fiore before the next one comes out. Yeah. November is when Cafe Enchanté came out. So probably still about 6 months that it took me to finish the whole thing. Capsule J says the magical girl one sounds great. I agree. It really does. Very excited. So yeah, that's what I was working on. I mean, we would have talked about that in the news section, but I thought might as well chat about all of these exciting Otome game announcements now since I was somewhat involved in that. And yeah, it
Mhm.
was very cool to watch the chat and see I saw Barry Krebs there and some other folks appear in the chat and be like, oh, look, it's Anne. I was like, oh, I'm famous. It was very exciting. So thanks everybody
Mhm.
for hyping me up because then when you do that, Axis is like, oh wow, look at all these people here. They love Anne. We gotta have her back, right? Good
Yes,
job.
yes, exactly.
Yes. And since we're doing a visual episode today, I can do some visual only content. My other thing is I'm now an artiste. I've been working on art. So I'm going to share this. If I can, oh God, this is too hard. When I have to show something in front of the webcam. There we
There you
go.
go.
And of course, mirrored, isn't it? But I drew this by myself. I've been using the iPad and Apple Pencil to draw lately, so that's been like something I've been doing. I realize I haven't talked about it on the podcast before, but it's something I'm doing. So it's just like a hobby, hobbies that you don't monetize or make something out of, like, oh, I gotta, make an Instagram dedicated to my art or something. I know not everybody's like this, but when you're very online like me and you have been for a while, it feels weird to like just do a hobby for yourself. I mean, I do post it. I posted that one on Twitter. And Marcus, before the show, you were like, and I think people don't realize that you're drawing these. And I was like, wait, really? But I wouldn't post art without credit. Obviously, everybody knows that,
I
right?
know that, but it looks so good.
I love it. Thank you. That's really nice to hear. So that's nice and motivating. So I'll continue to do art. And thank you everybody in the chat for your kind comments. Oh, Neil Akima's here. Hello. Another really great artist, actually. Much better than me, I gotta say. Yeah, so I'm just practicing getting used to the iPad and all the features using Procreate. and a little bit of Photoshop, but mostly Procreate. And it's been fun learning how to like use it on all the different brushes and all the techniques and stuff. So I'm having fun with that. I'll usually do that while I'm watching a movie, which, as you all see very shortly in Media Minutes, I'm watching a lot of movies lately. So, yeah. Capsule J says, wait, non-monetized hobbies? I don't understand. I feel like that's a trap of a lot of people our age and people that are very on the internet and content creators like Capsule J does his streams and he has the Geek to Geek network and his blog and all this stuff, you know. It's a lot of fun to do things to share with other people in a more formalized way. Like, obviously, we're here recording a live podcast, so we know all about that, but it's also fun to do stuff just for yourself, really. Like, of course, I'm sharing it, but it's mostly for me. And it's very uh relaxing, I
Yeah.
think. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's relaxing to draw, but it's also frustrating. I was to say it's relaxing in some ways, but in other ways I'm like, it doesn't look like what I want it to look like, and then I get mad. So that's why you have to practice, they tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I have to say, I don't think mom is here anymore, Linda Witt, but she's a big inspiration to me too, because she's been doing a lot of painting since she retired. I have one of her paintings in my room actually. And she's like entering art competitions and stuff. It's like very cool. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do more art. And you get a few appearances of Mr. Sushi in the background here because we have a very small apartment currently. So sorry about that. But yeah, I think that's all I've been working on. Marcus, are we ready to roll into media minutes? Do we want to throw up a little break sign or we want to just keep on going?
I think we're fine. I'm fine.
I'm fine as well.
Okay.
So let's do it. Okay, so we will jump into media minutes where we talk about what we've been watching and maybe playing right now. All right, Marcus, I've been talking a lot,
Okay.
so tell me what you've been up to.
So you want me to talk now? Okay.
Yeah, please talk.
Uh, okay. So I played a game. I played Back for Blood. The open beta, I think, is right now,
Oh yeah.
but there was like a closed beta last weekend, I
Hmm.
guess. And so I played that. At that point, I didn't pre-order it. That's how you could get confirmed access is if you pre-ordered the game. But they also just said, hey, like just register your email and maybe we'll give you some keys. So they did. So I played it, and this is like a spiritual successor to the Left 4 Dead series, pretty much. It's basically Left 4 Dead 3 because Valve is never going to make Left 4 Dead 3. It's got the people who made the original Left 4 Dead games are developers on this game. Anyway, so Back for
Wait, I
Blood.
didn't wait. Wait. Stop. So wait, Valve owns Left 4 Dead now?
Valve always
Did
owned Left 4 Dead.
So Valve Left 4 Dead, and then they got these good developers to make it. And since they're not doing anything with it, the developers are like, well, we'll just go
Developers have
make
their own
something else.
studio, making their own game, not called Left 4 Dead, because they
Got
couldn't
it.
call it
But it's
that.
very similar.
Yes, it's very similar. It's a focused on four-player co-op against zombies game.
Got it. Thank you
Yes,
for explaining.
yes, yes. So it's very much like Left 4 Dead. It's so similar in so many ways. Um, it's like when I saw a certain character type of zombie, I was like tank, but it's not called a tank in this game, but it is the
Right,
same
right.
thing. Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
boomer.
I see.
Um, so stuff like that. Or pills
Right.
here.
And they even
Uh,
have the four in the name, right? I like how
yes,
they're like, we gotta get something that has like word for
yes,
something.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
it's very good.
Hmm. So there's a lot of similarities in many
Hmm.
ways. Very familiar type of mechanics. But there's also a lot of
Hmm.
new or different things, like enhancements to make it more modern feeling.
Right.
Um, like you don't just have your basic guns now, you have the guns, but you can also have up to like four things to go with them, like a scope or an optic or like something else, extended mag, these
Hmm.
extras
Hmm.
to kind of customize your gun, improve it. There's higher quality weapons, worse quality weapons. So it's like there's more than just the base like pistol and shotgun, there's more nuance.
Right.
Each character has like special ability type things going on as well, which Left 4 Dead didn't have. Like all the four characters were effectively the same, except for their skin
Oh,
and personality, but they were all like they could all do the same things. Um, versus this game, they actually have like specific like, talents, and you have like kind of a talent tree as well you could build out. Um, so there's like a lot of things like that going on, like things to make the game more tactical, I guess, in a way, or more
right.
strategic. Because Left 4 Dead was really not strategic at all for the most part. But this game, there's a lot of that. But still, you don't necessarily need to be super, focused on it. You can still just kind of shoot zombies. But there is room to get, more strategic with it and do things like build out your team so that you've got people who are like all these different abilities. Um, like the mom character, I think, has like healing, special healing abilities.
The mom.
Yeah,
Did you
her.
say a mom?
Yes, her name is Mom, and
Oh
all
my
the
God.
characters call her Mom. They're like Mom, even though I'm
Love
pretty sure
it.
she's not their actual mom. She's just the
She's
mom.
a
I played
mom.
as the
Yeah.
mom because I'm like, that's cool. I
Yeah.
want to do like
Yeah.
healing. Um,
I, I like it.
so I was having fun with that, and yeah. So the game is also harder. I don't know how it's gonna be when it actually comes out, but at first it was like I played on easy with my friend, and we're like, this is so easy. We're just flying through. And then like in the second half of the game, we're like, oh my god, this is so hard. This is hard. I'm dying. We can't make it. How are we
Uh-oh.
supposed to do this? But we did eventually get through. But it was interesting. So I'm not sure if that is going to be like balanced out later because it was like super easy to super hard, like all in the same difficulty.
Yeah, maybe they'll change it up based on
Yeah,
feedback from the beta.
but it was so
So
that was
those were the
odd.
only two difficulties, or were there more?
I think there were only two difficulties in the beta, but there's probably more in general. Like this was
Hmm.
locked, it can only do a certain thing,
Right.
a certain
Yeah.
mission, certain characters. Not all the characters were accessible, but I had fun with it. I think it could become like my new Left 4 Dead game, which
Mhm.
was when Left 4 Dead came out. I was like all over that in college. Like every night with my friends, we're gonna play Left 4 Dead, and I would just play it, and I had it on loud, and so my mom, because I was living with my mom, would hear the sounds like when people are like reloading or pills
Yeah.
here. And so, like, my mom would always mock that. She,
Oh my God, this is a tangent, but that reminds me exactly of Mr. Sushi playing Dota, and so I'll mock like the voices of the characters. So like when he's like, "I have more work to do," I'll be like, "More work," like yeah, that sounds relatable.
mm-hmm.
And we even played Left 4 Dead together like once,
Yes.
right? And that was
Yes.
horrible, and we
Yes.
died. But
Yes.
this was fun, and I mean that was very recently, and the
Mm-hmm.
game is what? How old? At
I think
least 10 years
13 years
old.
old.
Yeah, very old.
I was trying to calculate it earlier. I'm like, no, that's not right. Is it right? I think it's right. So
Super old.
yeah, but this looks like a lot of fun, similar but modernized, and in
Mhm.
ways that I think make sense.
Mhm.
There's no monetization as far as I can tell, so that's always a
Yay.
plus. You like to see a game that does not try to throw in monetization.
Right.
So yeah, I like it. I think I will get it when it comes out. I'm pretty sure it's gonna cost money. It's not free to play, but I don't know how much it costs. But I'll probably get it.
I'm pretty sure it costs money.
I'm pretty sure it
Yes. I
costs
think,
money.
yeah, I
Um,
know because my friend pre-ordered it,
yeah.
and she played the beta,
Hmm.
but she pre-ordered the PS4 version, but it is cross-play, so like you can
Yeah.
play on PS4 with
Hmm.
people on PC.
Yeah. When I was
Yeah.
playing, there were people on my team from the PS4.
Oh, okay. Did you notice like any big difference in their capability? Like
No,
I know everybody's
no,
always like, controller versus
no. They
mouse
were
and all.
fine. And then there was like other people I played with who are really friendly. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
friendly strangers on an online game.
Nice people.
This is so interesting because it's like I don't know how to because they asked for something. I'm like I don't know how to do that, and like press tab. I'm like oh,
Oh, that's nice. I love nice
it's just like
online
helpful in
people.
general. Um,
Mhm.
so that was
That's cute.
nice. Yeah,
So
uh,
it's up to, sorry, it was four player or
up
three
to four
player? I think.
players. Yes, you can
Okay.
play it by yourself and have like either
AI.
randos or uh, computer controlled people. But the computer people seem like they're really bad, so I would not recommend that.
Okay, won't do that. Well, that sounds fun,
Yeah,
and it comes out next month, October.
October is a good
October.
month for a game like that to release. I actually don't know the release date.
All the stuff coming out. Wait. Oh my God.
Let me see.
I was just like, we were just talking about something else that comes out next month, weren't we?
Yeah, WarioWare.
Were we? Yeah, there we go. Already forgotten. I was like, it's not any of the Otome games, but Olympia Soiree comes out in less than a month, so
Mhm.
there is an Otome game.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, well, are you looking that up?
It was
Actually, no, you
October
don't.
12th
October 12th. It is
for Back
October.
for Blood specifically, and yeah,
Okay.
WarioWare is it says September.
September. Barry Krebs can't believe it. I can't either.
Hmm.
So soon. And WarioWare has like co-op in it, which I
Yes,
thought
it
was
does.
fun. Sorry, we're going back to Wario. Forget Back for Blood. Let's go back to WarioWare discussion.
Yes.
But no, Back for Blood looks fun too. I'm not a big shooter person, but I have this friend I told you that pre-ordered it and you play it. So maybe I'll pick it up. And we also have
Yes.
Diablo 2 to play though. Isn't that
We've
September,
got all kinds
October?
of things to play, and we'll make it work somehow. Don't worry
We'll
about
make
it.
it work.
We'll make
I
it work.
mean, Back for Blood and Diablo are two different moods. They're very different games.
Yes,
So,
that's true. Too bad we couldn't play freaking Picross.
oh my God, I know. I actually deleted it from my media minutes because I didn't really play much of it.
Okay.
But we talked about what is it? Mega Drive Picross.
Yeah, the Mega Drive
It's
and
confusing
whatever
because
collection.
it's called something different here. It's called a
Yes.
Japanese name in Australia, so I keep getting confused. But yeah, that Picross game we were talking about last episode, I did pick it up. Actually, fun story. I'm gonna go on a tangent here. It's the first game I ever digitally pre-ordered. Why?
Ooh.
Because I could. Because I knew I was gonna get it. There was no discount or anything, but I like preloaded it, and so it was on my home screen. I keep checking it on the day it was supposed to come out. I'm like, when is it coming out? But of course, because it's the US time for the release, it was probably like midnight or something. But that was fun to, preload a game. And then it became available when, it released. And we played some. I played some. You can play co-op,
Local.
local co-op. Yeah, I was gonna say physically. I'm like, that's not my physical co-op. Yeah, local co-op. But you can't do online co-op, which would have been so fun. I hope they do that someday.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it's still good. It's Picross. It's got all the good music from all of those games. Golden Axe. That's the only one I can think of. Sonic, all that good
Streets
stuff.
of
So
Rage. That was fun.
yeah, yeah. That is another one. There's like 30 plus, classic
Mm-hmm.
games referenced in it. So lots of good stuff. But yes, anyway, sorry, Marcus, for derailing you. What else have you been up to?
Um, I also watched some things. I watched,
Uh-huh.
just to get back to just briefly, I watched Paranoid Agent, which
Hmm.
when that was, I think that was like airing in the US on like Adult Swim or something, um,
Hmm.
uh, back in the day. And I like
Hmm.
watched one or two episodes only because I
Hmm.
didn't have access to Adult Swim or cable at the time, so I had to watch it like at a friend's house and watch like one or two episodes. Um,
Hmm.
but I was like, yeah, I never watched Paranoia Agent all the way through. I should do that. So I started watching it last night. It's
Ooh,
it's like free on Funimation site.
free. Oh,
Like you
but
can just
with like
register for free and not subscribe
yeah.
thing. Um, so anyway, I was watching that. I'm like, oh my god, this is good.
Hi, Satoshi Kon,
Yes,
so it's gonna be good. The director of Paprika and I
Millennium
was gonna say Star
Actress,
Wars. Yeah, there
Perfect
we go. Millennium.
Blue, Tokyo
Yes, yeah.
Godfathers.
All right, your brain's working faster than me. It's
No, I
late
was
in the
literally talking
afternoon.
about it last night, so that's why it's all in my brain.
Yeah. No, that's funny because that you just sort of randomly were like, "Hey, I need to watch that," because I've been wanting to watch it. But that's one of like Satoshi Kon's things that I've never seen is that show.
It's good. I would
Can you tell
recommend
us
it.
what it's about, or is it like one of those
It's
like abstract things, or
no, it's I've only watched like 4 episodes of like I think it's 13
okay.
episodes long, but the general premise is kind of I guess, that there is this kid who like has a baseball bat who's going around and smacking people with it, and they end up in the hospital, and it's scary, and people are wondering who it is, and what's going on, and why are these people targeted, and are they all connected in some way? People who have been targeted,
Uh-huh.
and so they're learning more about those characters.
The
Who,
people that were targeted.
mhm. And they all have
Okay.
things going on, some very interesting backstories, and I'm like into it. I'm really into it. It's got a lot of like interesting artwork going on, like where it's like okay, it's traditional anime art style, but sometimes like there's weird stuff going on, like trippy things happening. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got some folks in the chat. Hello, Curse Pressing. Hello, Bunny Cartoon, behind a very, very cool anime nostalgia podcast. So she says, feels appropriate that I drop in during the Satoshi Kon chat. Yes,
Yes.
very appropriate. And
Yes.
J. White Norris says, oh, yeah, that was a freaky show. So I guess we've seen that. I've heard it's very good. Sounds
Yes.
like you're going to finish it,
I am
Marcus.
digging it so much. I was like, I watched the third episode, and I'm like, I'm so tired. I have to go to sleep. But then I was like, no, I have to
What?
watch. I have to watch the fourth episode next because I like
I
had
love
started
that.
it and like I have to see it.
Yeah,
So I finished it
yeah.
and then I went to bed.
That's the best when you're like really hooked on something new,
Yeah.
you know? It's fun. But so it's pretty short, like
Yeah.
12 or 13
Hmm.
episodes. All right.
Yeah.
So that's a doable, couple day show excursion.
Hmm.
I'll have to look and see. So we're going to talk about this later, but this situation with Funimation,
Hmm.
whether I can access it without signing up because I have a million accounts. Anyway, we'll talk about that in the news. That's a little prelude on what's going on with Funimation and everything.
Hmm.
Okay, and then so you've got High Caliber, one of the, greatest anime directors out there. You were watching that show, and then you switched gears and you watched another show, right, Marcus?
Yes. Yes.
Another very high caliber show.
Yes. Well, I mean, technically, I also watch Passions, which is. But anyway,
Okay, yeah.
I'm always watching that though. So yes, I actually also started watching the Netflix series Cooking with Paris, which is Paris is in Paris Hilton, and
Mm-hmm.
this seems to be a show that was born out of her like YouTube channel where she did a thing once where she made a YouTube video called Cooking with Paris, which was amazing.
Did
And
she only did one? I thought she
I
did a
think she did a
couple.
couple of them, but not a lot.
Okay, she definitely
And
did it with Zanya one. That's the one
yes,
I saw.
yes,
It was
yeah,
with Zanya.
yes. So maybe because of that, like Netflix is like, hey, you want to do a show like
Yeah.
this? There'll be higher production value, maybe. Uh, but
Awesome. I love it.
yes, so I watched the first maybe 4 episodes of that as well, and that's also a short
Whoa.
series.
Yeah, that's only like 6 episodes.
Yeah, but that is fun. It carries on the trend of Paris Hilton, high fashion, low cuisine.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah. Can you give an example of something that she makes in one of the
She
episodes of
made
Low?
French toast with
Okay.
frosted flakes on it, and I'm like, yeah,
Mm,
like you're living alone in college. You're like, I want French toast. I'm gonna throw my frosted flakes on it.
yeah.
That's and I was like, I love this. um, and just like mishaps, like using a blender, and they like put salt or pepper directly into the blender with whatever ingredients were in there, and a little cap fell off into the blender.
Oh
And they
no.
didn't realize, so they just blended it and broke the blender.
Oh my God.
I'm
I
like,
was like, oh, and then they had to fish it out and it was
no,
all
they didn't
gooey. That,
realize until like when it started going and making noise. And Paris is like, wait, I saw a thing in there. And then they're like, oh my god, are we gonna die if we eat this?
did they eat it? Is the question. No, you got to watch the episode to find out.
So that is a very unique cooking show.
Hmm.
You're not coming for it to learn how to cook really fancy things. You're coming
Hmm.
there to see Paris Hilton and her friends and maybe a recipe or two. Um, but mainly it's funny. It's a funny show. I think it's so funny.
No, if it's anything like the YouTube videos she did,
Yeah,
I'm
but it's like
very
her sense
excited.
of humor is not like probably not everyone's sense of humor, but
Yeah, so really, like, she's not. I found because I don't really know Paris Hilton. I never watched. Was
mhm.
it His American Life? Is that the show she
She was
did?
on that
I
show.
know.
Yes.
But like, I don't know, when you have the image of who she is as a model and a celebrity, and then her videos and the way she talks and sort of acts in them, it's like very different than what I expected. I guess I expected more of like a high energy, bubbly sort of
Bubbly.
person. Yeah, but
Mhm.
she's like very like cool and like chilled out and like are you really stoned sort of way. Maybe she is. I mean, that's not a problem, but yeah, it's very different than what you expect from somebody who like kind of presents the way she does.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very feminine, girly presenting pink rhinestones
Mhm.
jewelry, but then also very chill, sometimes tomboyish,
Yeah, yeah.
and a dry sense of humor.
Yep.
Yeah, but I really like it, and I really like her, and I like the show. So yeah.
Good. Good. So that's on Netflix. There are 6 episodes if
Yes,
you
but
all want.
her original, just Cooking with Paris, is just on her YouTube channel.
Yeah, so if you want to get an idea of like what it's like, watch the lasagna one. That one's great.
Mm-hmm.
Paris lasagna. Yes. Well, Jay likes high fashion world cuisine. See it right
Yes.
here.
Yes. Like she was wearing something that had like little fringes all over it, like a Western cowboy outfit, and then I like got
Uh,
in the thing that
oh
she
my
was
God.
cooking, and she's like, "Don't wear couture. Now I'm gonna have to pay my dry cleaning bill."
Oh, Paris.
Because yeah, like the little fringes got in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's fun.
Hmm.
I like it a lot. Um, Too bad it's so short.
Hmm.
But yeah, so
Maybe
that's.
they'll do more. Season 2.
Oh, please do more, please. We'll see.
Okay, so the next thing we
Yes,
watched together was It. It, as in Stephen King's It, the older one. I
I
don't
think it's
remember.
from 1990.
Yeah, so this is the like it was a TV miniseries,
Hmm.
was it? When it first
Yes.
came out with Tim Curry, which is why I wanted to watch it. I was like, oh my God, Tim Curry is the clown. I had no idea, and I was like, oh, we gotta watch it. And like every day, I was like, is today the day, Marcus? We're watching Tim Curry. Is it? I was very excited. So, my experience with the franchise is I actually did see the new ones. I can't remember if I finished the second one. This is like, you're on an airplane and it's just there. And I watched them and they were pretty creepy. But, because the modern ones use like all the fancy technology and they're kind of gross, and so I was like, ugh. But, I'm personally not scared of clowns, so
Hmm.
I don't have that kind of problem with it. Like I know some people might.
Yes.
But so I do know the story from the films and I listened to like a portion of the audiobook because I had an Audible freebie and I was listening to that. But Tim breaking news, Tim Curry rules. Thank you, Marcus. It's amazing. I just noticed.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I was familiar with the story, but hadn't seen this one. I was very excited to watch it, and we were like, "Oh, well, it's quite long. It's like 3 hours, so we might like break it in two and like watch half now, half later." But then I was like, "No, we gotta watch the whole thing." So I had a lot of fun. I especially liked, was it Eddie, the older Eddie,
Hmm.
who had
I
very
think
good
so.
fashion. He had a
Yeah.
very good vest, sweater vest with some like cute little stuff on it, had suspenders. His fashion was so good. And he had good hair and glasses. So it's just like Eddie,
Yes.
the best. I love him.
Yes.
But then of course he, you know, doesn't have a good end.
Of course not.
The
Queer
character.
characters never do.
Yep. Yep. Um, in terms of comparing it to the recent movie, thought it was kind of interesting to watch the new one and then go back to this one because I feel like this one is quite iconic. Is that true? I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, so to see like, the way they did, the way Tim Curry did to the clown, he really gets like himself in it. His laugh is present, but also, that you can kind of see how the new one sort of maybe riffs off of that. But I mean, they're both based on the same character from a book. But yeah, so it's just interesting to see different performances of the same character that's really like iconic like that. I think for me, the people that played the kids and the adults were more interesting in in this older one than the
Hmm.
newer one. Maybe it's just because I liked Eddie's fashion. I don't even remember Eddie in the new one. So he was like nondescript to me in the new one. So yeah, what did you think? I mean, you'd seen this
Yeah, I've
before,
seen it
but
before.
how was it watching it again?
It's fine. It's fun. It's still kind of goofy at points. Like in their like restaurant, that's a key funny moment for me. And their
Mhm.
like fortune cookies are freaking out, and like changing or things are coming out of the fortune cookie. That's
Mhm.
my favorite moment. It's so funny. Because I can just imagine like the lady comes in like something's wrong because everyone's screaming and
Yeah,
like
yeah, but she can't
panicking.
see like the horrible thing that's going on, and like
Yeah.
what the hell are these
Something that
people
stood out
are?
to me more this watch was
Yeah.
friendly kissing people on the mouth, just your friend.
Uh-huh.
I was like, whoa, that that's interesting. I've never.
Yeah, I thought when so like the one girl meets up with this guy who wait,
Yes, the
I'll
girl.
remember. No, she meets up with the guy who liked her. Did she liked him as a kid? They were
Yes,
both into each other, but not he wasn't the like really, uncool guy that liked her, right?
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So she was into the cool guy with the stutter, right?
Hmm.
And they meet up for the first time in 20 years, was it? No, is it
It's probably
every
like 20 years.
I think they said every 30 years. That's every 30 years the thing comes back and it needs to
So it's been a
feed.
while.
It's been a long time. I haven't seen each other. She goes up and full on kisses him on the lips. And I was like, wait, what? Does this mean they're like getting together? What's going on here? He's married. Like he seems to still be into his wife. I don't understand what's happening. And then later on, they don't talk about it. They don't like try to hook up or anything. It was just like full on mouth kiss. And then that's it. And then she also kisses the other guy,
Yes,
but like on the cheek in a way that seemed friendly. But then I think she later gets that with that guy. I can't remember.
yes,
That's not
yes.
important. The important thing is Tim Curry as the
Uh huh.
clown. That's what I was focused on, and
Hmm.
Eddie's great outfits. So, uh, yeah, I mean, it was fun to watch. It had some problems that happen in a lot of Stephen King things.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say, related to gender and sexuality and so, like sort of comments on fat characters and things like that that you're like, ugh. But that's I guess a product of the time as well as Stephen King. So that is what it is. I think most people who are familiar with Stephen King know that he has a few problems, but it was a fun movie and Tim
Hmm.
Curry was great. So Uh, what else? What have I been doing?
Yeah. What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I've been watching a lot of movies, as I mentioned earlier, while I'm drawing. And, Mr. Sushi and I got on this like weird late 80s, early 90s bad movie kick. They're not that bad. I was gonna say early 90s, but no, I guess it's the late 90s because we do like 87 and then jump like 2000 maybe. So anyway, on a whim, I've been browsing through all the different streaming services I have, and I've been making a list. Like Marcus and I, we have a list of what we want to watch together, which is very good when we're like, okay, we have time to watch something. What do we watch? And we're like, I don't know. What is there? But then you consult the list and you're like, okay, we've got these ones that we said we wanted to watch, and
Hmm.
then that's handy. So I was like, I'm going to create a personal list. And then I went through and added a bunch of things on there. And one of them, which I watched, was Highlander. And the reason Highlander came up is because it's a long story, but recently there was a new Mortal Kombat movie, right? Which Mr. Sushi wanted to watch. So we went to see that. And then we're talking about the old Mortal Kombat movie, which we didn't rewatch. I can't remember. We watched the second one, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Anyway, he's over there laughing. You don't remember anything. No, I do not. But the main point being that the Raiden guy is played by Christopher Lambert, who is in Highlander. And whenever he appeared, it would be like, this is the guy from Highlander. I'm like, that means nothing to me because I haven't seen Highlander,
Hmm.
but apparently it's important. So we watched Highlander, which, if folks in the chat aren't familiar with it, it's about a guy who's like from medieval Scotland, and he's part of this, uh, I guess people that have been selected to partake in this like battle to the death to become the one remaining who will inherit all the power of these vanishing age knows there can only be one is like the thing that they say as they kill each other. But they're like immortals, and the only way they can be killed is by lopping their head off. So he's just like, doing his Scottish warrior thing, and he dies, or he thinks he dies because he doesn't know that he's immortal. But then when he dies, I thought this was actually one of the more interesting parts of the film for me personally, was like he dies and his people mourn him as like a fallen warrior, but then he revives, and they're like, what the hell, get out of here, you're an evil, you're a devil, like what is going on? And they like freak out because it's medieval Scotland, and they're like, why the hell is this guy alive? But it's because he's got this immortal power that he was
Nice.
chosen. And then Sean Connery appears to him in like this really wild peacock outfit, Spaniard outfit, and is like, I am a fellow immortal. I will teach you the ways. And then they train together. And so it like jumps back and forth between present day, where Christopher Lambert, the immortal guy, is still living his life fighting other immortals. And then you see like snippets of his past lives, as he's lived hundreds of years. And I thought this movie was going to be totally crap, but it was actually quite fun. So I do recommend it. It was like fun to see these, like, some of the fight scenes are so bad. Like the first fight scene takes place in a parking lot in modern day, and he's got swords, and they're like sort of trying to fight with this like really flashy style, but it just comes off as so cheesy, and the sound effects are so bad, but it's funny. Oh, Capsule J loves Highlander.
There you
Good
go.
to hear.
A fan.
I think, yeah, I think it's worth a watch. It was quite fun. It was definitely more fun than I expected.
Mhm.
And like Christopher Lambert's character, he's like serious, but then he says these really random funny things. Like he gets really mad at Sean Connery for bringing him out on a boat because he can't swim, and I forget what he says to him, but he keeps calling him something because what? Haggis. Oh yeah, haggis, like the food. So it's like this derogatory comment to Sean Connery, is that he's like haggis, but Sean Connery is a Spaniard and he doesn't know what haggis is because it's from Scotland. It's like, oh, this dumb stuff. It was just fun. Oh, Capsule J says maybe it's one of the first battle royale movies. Yeah, it could be. Like that's definitely the theme, is that they
Mhm.
have to be the last survivor. Bunny Cartoon hasn't seen it in years, but remembers it being fun. Yes, I think it was very fun, even watching it now for the first time. So that was surprising. I didn't expect it to be that fun. Um, I also watched Speed, Marcus, because you were so
Yay.
keen on Speed. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock in a fast bus
Hmm.
hurtling down the highway. Some of that was like we're watching and we're like, are they really going 50 miles an hour? That bus would be totaled by now, because there's like some scenes where it like is running into these cars along the side of the road because it has to like cut
Yes.
off into the shoulder, and I was like, I think feel like that bus would have crashed by now, but you know what? It's a movie. It's fine. The one shocking thing I'll say, since you already covered the
Hmm.
synopsis of the last episode, we were watching this on Disney Plus. Why
Okay.
Disney Plus? I don't know, but they've got all kinds of random stuff now. And then when you get to the end of the movie, it's like, oh, we've got Speed 2. It's like, okay, what's up with Speed 2? So I read the synopsis, and Sandra Bullock is back in it. But it's like Sandra Bullock and her new swap boyfriend, Body Bot. And I was like, what the hell? Like, she literally hooks up with Keanu Reeves at the end of Speed. The whole point of Speed is they're like budding romance. They make out at the end, whatever. I'm spoiling Speed. Sorry, everybody. But they make out. And then the next movie, she's with another guy. So, Keanu Reeves has moved on. Like, let's just forget the whole messaging of this first film. I kind of want to see it just to see how the film opens with her being like, "Yeah, man, that guy that saved me, he was such a jerk," and like, yeah, like, what are they gonna do? Like,
Hmm.
obviously, people cared about their romance to some degree because I felt like that was sort of a selling point of the film. I thought that was very funny. Yeah, so Vanishing Age says something about the phrase "fast bus" is very funny to me. Yes, it's pretty amusing. But yeah, that was fun. And then I think a recommended film that came up after we watched Speed on Disney Plus was Phone Booth with Colin Farrell from like 2002, I believe this film is from.
Yes.
And Sean was very keen to watch it. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I remember that one being good." I'm like, "Okay, we'll watch Phone Booth." So this is Colin Farrell is in a phone booth in New York, and there's a sniper with his gun trained on him, and he can't leave the phone booth. So pretty much the whole film was like him in this phone booth, being threatened,
Wait, why can't he leave the
and
phone booth? Because he'll get shot?
get shot by the sniper,
Why couldn't he get
Marcus,
shot when he's in the phone booth?
because the sniper wants him to stay in the phone booth to harass him over the phone. The sniper's talking to him on the phone.
So does he want to kill him or not want to kill him?
He wants to kill him, I
He wants to
guess.
kill
I
him?
don't know. He wants to teach him a lesson, you know? He's like, he's threatening him. So Colin Farrell's
Okay.
character is like a really sleazy guy who works in like actor PR stuff. I thought he worked for magazines, but then I don't really know what he does. But it's like showing his fast-paced New York life. He's like got his assistant and he's like making all these phone calls and giving people scoops on like what these actors are up to. And then it's revealed very quickly that he uses this one phone booth at the same time, maybe every day, to call a girl that he's into, and he's like telling her that he's gonna help her get her actor break. And but he's married, so he gets in the phone booth, he takes off his wedding ring, and then he calls this girl, and he hangs up the phone from talking to her, and the phone rings again, and I guess he thinks it's her calling him back, which I never really understand how people can call phone booths, but I guess you can. I don't get it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so he picks up the phone and it's like, "Don't hang up. I'm gonna shoot you. That's the evil voice." So that somebody who's been watching him and knows that he'll be there because this person knows that he goes to that phone booth every day. And he's threatening him over the phone. He's like, "You move and I'm shooting you. I'm gonna shoot you. I've got a sniper trained on you." And then it's got the little red dot,
Mm-hmm.
moving on his chest. And he's like, "Oh no." And yeah, so the sniper is threatening him. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
You gotta watch it to figure out what happens and why he doesn't want him to leave the phone booth. Bunny Cartoon remembers thinking phone booth was pretty good. Isn't Keith Sutherland the voice? I'm looking at Mr. Sushi. He says, yes, it was Keith Sutherland. I didn't realize. I remember we were talking about him being in it, and then I was like, it's Colin Farrell, though. This is the voice.
But it's called.
He's not the actor that you see at the end, is he?
Yes.
Oh, he is. So you do see him,
Okay.
when they reveal like who was doing the prank phone call. But yeah, so I
I
actually
get
thought
it.
this was quite fun too. If I had to compare Speed and this one, I think I like this one a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Mainly because I was really expecting Keanu Reeves to be cooler in Speed than he actually was. I think I was thinking like modern Keanu Reeves has a bit more like, John Wick Keanu Reeves has a bit of a cooler demeanor than he did Speed. So it's a little. Capsule J is loving my Keith Sutherland impression. Hello, don't
That's
hang
good.
up. But yeah, phone booth was quite fun. It was really intense, and I don't know if it was just like Friday night. I've had a long week, but it's like him in the phone booth and all these like fast cuts and all this stuff happening. The guy threatening on the phone, and I was like, oh, I'm so anxious. I need to pause and like take a break for a second. I actually did. I was like, we
Mm-hmm.
can't. What? I gotta take a break from this. It was really like I guess just like the way it was shot was very hectic. So yeah, but I thought it was fun. It was
Mm-hmm.
good. So that was that. I think that's all the movies I watched.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just want to give a quick update on Genshin Impact because I was helped out by the Arch Kitty, who is in the Pixel Pals Discord, has been to some of my streams on Twitch, and I've been streaming Genshin Impact and along with other things lately. and she offered to help me in the game because you can have people come assist. So we set up a time and she came help me through the Mondstadt mountain range area, which I think Capsule J will be familiar with in the chat because we were discussing how difficult this section of the game is. There are all these quests on this big like frozen mountain. And I was trying to do them myself. I'm like, I can't do this. It's too hard. So I had somebody come in, and believe it or not, having someone who's way higher level than you help you out is actually really helpful.
Nice.
So we were able to get through all of it together, and it was really fun to play Genshin Impact with somebody. That was like the first time I played with somebody that wasn't a random 15-year-old on the internet. So that was nice.
Good.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying Genshin Impact still. I finally finished all of the Mondstadt, which is like the first area stuff, and I'm gonna move on to Liyue. I've just been busy, so I haven't been playing much lately, but enjoying that too. Really, for a free-to-play game, I feel like I'm getting a lot out of it. So
Seems like it, yeah.
yeah. So that's it. I think we shall take a little break before we get into notable news, but I just wanted to let the chat know that we will be discussing, of course, as always, the things that we thought were the most interesting and relevant to us over the past 2 weeks. But we want to hear what news really piqued your fancy. So if you put a note in the chat, let us know what news you're really excited about. If we don't cover it, we'll bring it up in the news section at the end. So yeah, we'll be right back in a bit with all of the news that's fit to talk about.
All right, we're back in here while you're drinking your drink.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Okay,
So
good.
everybody knows what a coffee addict I am. Which reminds me of the time that you brought up that article about how what, everyone's addicted,
Yes.
right? Coffee addiction is horrible.
I didn't say it was horrible. I
Anyway,
just said that everyone is addicted to coffee. Well, not everyone. A lot of people.
everyone who drinks it. Coffee is the one like socially acceptable addiction.
Well, so is alcohol.
True. Anyway, yes, I have a lot of coffee.
I have my
So
water,
you got your water and your very cute
my
flamingo
flamingo
cup.
cup.
I love it. Yeah, so reminder, if you're in the chat still, we're going to be taking news submissions that we'll mention at the end. If we haven't covered it already, maybe you're excited about the same news we are, so we won't cover it twice, but always interested to hear what, people are really excited about. So, but first we'll get into our news. I alluded to this earlier when Marcus brought up Funimation, which is where you're watching Paranoia Agent. So I just wanted to update because this is a big deal, anime stuff. I mean, I don't really know about the goings on in companies and I don't really follow super closely, like, who's buying out who and like all this stuff. But it seemed like a big deal that Sony Funimation Global Group, because Sony acquired Funimation a few years back, I believe. They completed the acquisition of Crunchyroll, which is another big anime streaming service. They paid over $1 billion for Crunchyroll. And there's been some, talk about like what will happen now that Sony owns both Funimation and Crunchyroll, which on one hand is like kind of like, oh, it's going to be a Disney monopoly situation again. Like you don't really want, excuse me, one company owning everything because that means you're not going to have like, a lot of competition. But on the other hand, it could potentially mean good things for customers. I don't know. Should we say that companies doing big acquisitions will mean good stuff for the consumer? I don't know, but potentially Crunchyroll and Funimation maybe will merge. Maybe you'll get. I know at one point, I think it was before Sony bought Funimation, you could actually watch a lot of Funimation stuff on Crunchyroll, and then they sort of separated. So maybe you'll have a situation where they're combined again, or like if you have a Crunchyroll account, you can watch Funimation for free with a paid account. I don't know, but something will change probably. And just something interesting as well. I don't now I can't remember whether I brought this up on the show before, but I'm bringing it up again because we're talking about Funimation and Crunchyroll that actually in Australia, so we have a company here called Madman that is a local company and they had a streaming service called Anime Lab and they were acquired by Sony as well. So now they've basically
Hmm.
become Funimation. So Anime Lab is gone. It's Funimation now. They totally rebranded very recently. So like all their social media accounts, the whole website. They used to have their own streaming service that was branded Anime Lab and all of that. Now it's just 100% Funimation. So I thought that was, kind of interesting. So you're seeing these big companies like take over, and it was fun to have like, the local Australian one. I thought it was neat. There was a very good company, and they had some good stuff on there. But I mean, now it's all Funimation stuff anyway, so it's the same as what you can get in the US, I guess, generally, aside from like the licensing differences. But Marcus, you said you watched Paranoia
Mm-hmm.
Agent for free, right, on
Mm-hmm.
Funimation? So you
Yes.
don't have any of these subscription services?
I am not subscribed to Crunchyroll. I'm not subscribed to Funimation. I was briefly on Crunchyroll.
Okay. You're
Just
not really an anime guy. I get
not really. I was
it.
also briefly subscribed like, to Verve.
Oh yeah, I think I might have too. And High Dive? What about High Dive?
No,
I think it was on High Dive.
never High
No.
Dive.
What are we? Oh, we're watching Onisama Dear Brother on Retro
Retro
Crush,
Crush,
which
which
is
is
free,
free.
right? But can you get a
I
subscription on
don't
Retro
think
Crush?
you can.
But that one's pretty good, but it's not available in Australia. So we stream that. The Marcus streams that
Mm-hmm.
through Discord to me. I mean, if you had a VPN, I'm sure you could watch it. But
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, what do you think about this, Marcus? Do you have any thoughts? Companies
Um,
buying other companies.
I think it's like it's kind of just what's gonna happen. I think um,
Mhm.
because it's been this whole thing these last couple of years where you see everybody's like, I need to have my own streaming service, so they make their
Mhm.
own, and then I don't think that's sustainable At some point, I think there's too many. I don't even know if we're there
Yeah.
yet, but I don't think it is sustainable. Um, at least when there's a lot that are like the same thing. For example, there's only one horror streaming service, which is Shudder. So there's not necessarily a monopoly of that market. At least that I know in the United States. I don't know anywhere else.
Hmm.
Um, so like that's not a monopoly in and of itself. Even though that's like owned by some other company that owns other streaming services, but they're keeping it like separate because it's a very
Hmm.
specific niche. But here you got two anime streaming services. There's no niche because it's all the same niche,
Right.
except that it's like, okay, these are the Funimation shows or
Right.
whatever. But if they're all owned by the same entity, I don't see why in this case they wouldn't eventually bring them together in some capacity. And I assume
Hmm.
they'd probably go all under Crunchyroll because all the anime is Funimation anime. But, or they might even do something different. But I don't
Hmm.
know. And that might not be anything that happens anytime soon.
Yeah.
Um,
That's true.
or maybe it'll never happen. Or maybe it'll be like you subscribe for one, now you have the login that works for both.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Or they'll make you pay more because they're combining them. They're like more shows.
They shouldn't do that, but they could.
Yeah. Well, yeah, gotta say, like, I remember I was looking at Instagram the other day and I was getting ads for Paramount Plus, which is a thing now.
Yeah,
So
that's a
it's like,
rename, or is that a rename of something that already existed?
oh, is it? I don't
I
know.
don't
I was like,
remember.
really?
Yeah.
It seems like, yeah, there's streaming services for everything, all the different companies. And really, as an individual, you don't want to subscribe to like five different things. Like, I've got Netflix. I use my mom's Disney Plus, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mom. Uh, I share Netflix with people, I'm happy to say I share things. I remember there was this article where they're like, "Oh, don't share your passwords with people." It's like, well, normal people are going to do that. Like, you're paying all this money every month, and you can have so many logins. Like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Netflix and Crunchyroll and Amazon Prime. I mean, that I pay for the Amazon Prime account,
Yeah.
and you get Prime. Yeah,
Is that
so
all?
that's three.
No.
That's no,
Netflix. Oh, because you didn't count Disney Plus. Okay.
I
Three.
don't count it
Because
because
it's
I
not
don't.
yours. Okay. Three.
It's not mine. So it's three. Yeah. But I mean, like, yeah. And then you add things on like Xbox, Game Pass. I was paying for that. So that's like three, four things I
Mm-hmm.
was paying for per month. Like, I know Game Pass isn't streaming of, movies and stuff. But anyway. And I'm probably, I don't know. Do you think I'm normal use case or am I like a high user? I feel like I'm about normal. I would say probably most people have three to four.
You're probably normal.
Yeah. I know. Marcus, you have Criterion Collection and
Yes.
Shudder.
Yes. Criterion Channel and Shutter. Those are my two.
Okay. Those are two pretty good ones, I gotta say. Like, I agree with you. I like the niche ones where it's like you're subscribing for a specific like experience, like Shudder or Criterion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like very, yeah, like Criterion is really great how they do like their monthly themes and
Yes.
stuff. I think that's really cool. Whereas like the difference between Crunchyroll and Funimation is like they're both anime. It's just who's got the licenses for what. The experience in general is very
Mm-hmm.
similar. It's anime. If there was like Retro Crush at least is like
Old retro
retro
anime.
anime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So that's more of like a niche and like you feel like when you go there you have a very specific type of experience. So I like that sort of thing and I can understand paying for those types of experiences. But when it's like, oh, I want to watch this one anime, who's got it, and like
Yeah.
a modern anime that like could be anywhere, then it's just like yeah. So it would be nice if they combine it just to make it easier for people like us. So like even just this past week when I was trying to watch all these things, so I went to this website where it will show you like where you can stream the
Yes.
film you're looking for. But I probably was dumb and I didn't look at it closely enough. You could like pick like so you'd be like, which services do you
Yes.
have? And I Disney Plus, Netflix. And Highlander popped up on Amazon Prime. And I was like, okay, I've got Amazon Prime. But then when I went to Amazon Prime, it was like you had to rent it
Yes.
through Amazon Prime. It wasn't just streaming for free. But then luckily it was also on Disney Plus, so I could just switch to that. But it's just a pain in the butt trying to figure out where the film you want to watch is streaming, and whether you have access to it. So I say more access. and combining things is good for us anyway. Yeah. Oh, Vanishing Age has to head out because of mobile data, but it was fun. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Yeah.
And yeah, if anyone has to head out, no worries. We're going to have the full recording as always on the audio feed,
Hmm.
so you can give it a listen if you want to hear the rest of the news or whatever you missed. But we appreciate you all being here nonetheless. Yeah, so that's it for that news. I think it's kind of a big deal for the anime industry, so we'll see what happens in the next few months slash years. I'm sure whatever happens will be slow moving nonetheless. Big news in the BL novel area. Seven Seas licensed three very, very famous Danmei slash BL fantasy novels from this Chinese author named Mo Shang Tong Chu. I think I'm pronouncing it okay, hopefully. Uh, or MXTX is how the author is written online. So these three novels, the series are called, one is the Scum Villains Self-Saving System. Then you've got Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. Some folks may have heard of that one before. It's very famous. Also very famous is Heaven's Official Blessing. So three very, very famous Danmei, so Chinese BL novels were licensed for official English versions. So there were like fan translations of these around,
Hmm.
and from what I could see, actually, I think the fan translator is working on the official versions, and it's very exciting to be able to have these. Like, they're going to print them, so you're going to have printed versions with new art in them. So they're like light novels where they have art in them.
Okay.
I'm not sure if officially, the Chinese novel equivalent of a light novel, but to me anyway, that sort of seems similar with that. They have illustrations every so many pages. And yeah, there's Capsule J has heard that Heaven's Official Blessing anime is really good. Yeah, there's an anime. There are a couple live action adaptations of these very, very famous series. And it's interesting if anyone is familiar with China and their laws. There's a lot of stuff with censorship of homoerotic content, or not even erotic, homosexual romance. So the shows will often have like implications, but not outright
Hmm.
say things or show things. And then I was reading about how like these books will have like special chapters, like when they get a Taiwanese release, they'll actually add like an explicit sex
Hmm.
chapter, which I find interesting because they can't release that stuff in China. So as someone who's interested in BL, as we all know, I'm very keen to check these out. Like I've never watched any of it. I've heard great things about the series, the different series, like the adaptations, and I wasn't really ready to sit down and read like a super long fan translation because some of these are really long. They're like 7 books long. So
Hmm.
I was like, oh, I'm not really feeling that. But now that they're getting official release, I might check them out.
Hmm.
The Scum Villain Self-Saving System is, I think, only 4 novels from what I saw. So I think that's the shortest one, and also maybe the first or one of the earlier releases from this author. So I might start with that. But either way, all three of these series, the first volumes are launching on December 7th, I believe, but in December. So they're all launching at the same time. So you can pick
Hmm.
which one or all of them if you want to check them out. And I think that's very cool. It's very exciting because there's not really any of this stuff available in English, as far as I know, like Chinese Danmei fiction.
Hmm.
So yeah, very big news. And I'm excited to check them out.
Nice.
Yes. Then, other big news in the BL adjacent sphere. I mean, well, it's not directly BL, but come on, Token Rambu is full of handsome men that are personifications of swords from Japanese history. And it was just announced that this series, which is like it's like a gotcha game for PC and mobile, where you collect the swords and you fight, and they've got beautiful illustrations and all that. It's getting a Muso version, so like a Dynasty Warriors, Hyrule Warriors type game coming to Switch and PC. This is going to be developed by Omega Force, who do the Warriors games, and then DMM Games and Nitro Plus. So part of the reason why I mentioned this, BL adjacent is Nitro Plus is involved with the series. They own the series. So Nitro Plus Chiral, of course, does all these BL games, Togai no Chi, Sweet Pool, all of that. And though Token Rambu isn't BL, it's like, for people who like handsome guys. So related. Yeah. And you can like it for many reasons, I'm sure. But I did play the gotcha game back in the day when it was browser only for PC.
Mhm.
And I found I couldn't get into it because it was so like gotcha-y. It's got the system where
Oh.
you actually have to get items and then forge the swords, and you like have a percentage chance using the certain items to forge like the rare swords,
Mhm.
and it will take a longer timer based on like how rare it is and stuff. So it'd be like, okay, I'm gonna forge a sword. Okay, come back in 24 hours or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you can keep playing, but I don't like, especially in mobile games where they have those timers in
Mhm.
them. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. So I never really played it, but the art is very good. They have all these different famous artists like Kinako, who's one of my favorite. Actually, I can show you since we're on stream here. This is a Token Realm guy, illustrated by Kinako, who's one of my favorite artists. So lots of cool art. Uh, should be exciting to see it as a Muso game, Marcus. See, I can't remember. Do you like Muso? I feel like the answer is no, but
You're right. The answer is no. I don't really. At least I have never played one that I've liked. So there could be potential for something good. But
which ones have you played then?
there would just be the PS2 ones like Warriors Orochi and stuff.
Mhm.
So that
Okay, so
era.
really old OG. Yeah, they've come a long way since then, I
Have they?
feel.
To me, they seem exactly the same. I don't know.
More enemies, better graphics. I
That
don't
doesn't
know.
matter. If it's the same gameplay, who cares? But that's just me. But I could also see it being fun if it's like a chill out. I'm just gonna zone out and like kill a million enemies. I could see that being
Yeah,
fun. I could definitely see that being
yeah,
fun.
yeah. I've had some fun in a Muso.
Hmm.
Capsule J said Muso is much more fun in co-op. Yeah, I agree with
Oh
that. It's
yeah,
fun
that
in
could be
co-op.
fun.
Smashing through enemies with a friend.
Hmm.
I'm personally a fan of the Samurai Warriors ones, mostly because I like the character designs a bit better. So you've got Dynasty Warriors, which is like the
Hmm.
Chinese or the Three Kingdoms type stuff, and then Samurai Warriors is more like, Oda Nobunaga and like the
Yeah.
Japanese historical figures are in it.
Hmm.
So I play more of those. Also, I played a bit of Hyrule Warriors before, which is fun. So it's fun to see like if it's a series you like and then you see the characters in this setting and you can actually like especially if it's something like Tolkien Rambu, you never actually control the characters directly really, like they're fighting for you, but it's just like
Hmm.
point and click, like pretty static game. So then if it looks really cool, you get the cool sword guys and then you can fight as them. Seems pretty fun. I
Yeah.
am Capsule J says Anne only likes historical settings if she can destroy things. Yes, that sounds
There you go.
accurate. But I was just thinking, we did have Hakuoki Muso. There was a Hakuoki Warriors game for PSP
That
that
was
was
so
quite bad.
bad.
It was so bad. So, that's all I'm saying is that I wouldn't get our hopes up too much. Was it made by the Dynasty Warriors guys? Now I want to look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
I honestly
Excuse
don't
me.
know who it was made by. I just remember hating that game so much.
So bad. Warriors of the Shinsengumi. Wow. I don't know if this means anything, but my review is the top search result on Google.
Ooh.
Uh, you can get it for, it was only $8 on the Axis Game Store, but it's sold out.
Okay, fine.
I can't tell. How much am I Warriors? I just want to know if Amiga worked on it or not.
Well, then
I
look on
can't tell.
Wikipedia.
I can't do this live. Wikipedia, where are you? It doesn't have a Wikipedia article.
That's that bad?
So bad they didn't even want to do a page for it. I mean, yeah, I gotta look through the main.
Hmm. The main way.
It's not, yeah, it doesn't even say. It just says released for North America, published by Axis Games, PlayStation Portable,
We don't get to know who
2013.
developed it.
We'll never know. I'll work on it. Or, um,
Oh
but
well.
I'll look at it while you talk about the next news item. Either way, I'm just saying my hopes are a little bit tempered, mainly because I remember being like, oh, Hakuoki Warriors, that sounds fun, and that was god awful. So
Yeah.
just sort of that. Yes.
Yeah, that was not a good time. Yeah, the other news is that El Shaddai Ascension of the Metatron, its a PC port is coming out soon. It's coming out on September 1st, so that's just in a couple weeks now. Though, of course, that is the game itself is pretty old now. Came out back in the day, 360 era. So it's been a while since we last saw El Shaddai. And
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see how people react to it now. I've always felt like it was kind of overlooked or a bit obscure when it first came out. So it'll be interesting now if more people look at it. People who maybe never played it before. I'm assuming some fans will play it again, but I don't know if new people will come to it and check it out.
I feel like it's the kind of game that maybe would get more interest now than it did when it first came out because it's kind of one of those, artsy, weird games that people maybe didn't get when it first came out for PS3.
Mm-hmm.
But I just have to give you a hot update about Hakuoki. It is
Okay.
not an official console game. It was developed by Idea Factory, as far as I can tell. This was called Hakuoki Bakamatsu Muso Roku in the Japanese version, and it seems like it's like trying to be that Muso style, but not actually developed by Omega. So maybe that's why it was just Idea Factory trying to do a Muso game, and they don't have the resources to make a good
Yes.
one. So maybe we could breathe a sigh of relief that if Omega Force is involved, then it should be good.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, yeah, I actually have a story about this game, whose name I'm forgetting now. El
El
Shaddai.
Shaddai.
um, my mom went to E3 back in the day. I think I mentioned this before, but she worked with Nintendo for a bit. She was working for IBM and they did the chip for the Wii and the Wii U. And so she went to E3 because they invited her. And it was, I guess, the year that El Shaddai was coming out originally. So she got me a magnet and has the El Shaddai guy on it. And it says the release date. And it's one of my treasured possessions. I always have it on my fridge. I'm like, El Shaddai. But I've never played the game. I never got the game when it came out. I remember reading the reviews were kind of mixed. And then way later I picked it up. It was kind of like one of those PS3 games that was a bit obscure that I wanted to get, but I
Mm-hmm.
never picked up. And now I have it. And I haven't played it. Will I play it because it's coming on Steam? No. If I'm gonna play it, I'll play it on PS3 because you know me, I don't
Mm-hmm.
play PC games if I don't have to. If they ported it to Switch, well, maybe I would pick it up, but it's not
There you
happening.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like El Shaddai seems cool. What was wrong with it? You didn't love it, so
I
what
don't
was the problem?
remember, honestly, what I didn't like. I think it's just the gameplay was not that interesting. Style over substance, kind of, was my impression at the time. It's possible I played it now, I feel differently. But that's how I felt at the time. But it's very stylish, very unique visuals, colors. Um, though even that, I kind of didn't like. I didn't like the stylization. The way that it was done, or the colors. I was like, I don't like these
Didn't like
colors.
good
These colors. I
colors.
want different colors, a good style. Anyway, I don't know why I didn't like it as much as, and I would have been right in that era. I'm like, ooh, artsy, artsy. Games as art
Mm.
um, era. So I don't know. I just had some reservations about it, but it definitely is unique. So I don't know that there was like much that came around that time that was like it as well. Not really. Even since then, I'd say probably not really. So
Yeah.
it's notable for that. So it's worth checking out. Sure.
Are you gonna get it?
No, I'm not gonna get it. I already have it. I already own it. Why would I get it again?
And we're both like, oh, here's some news, but we're not gonna get it. Maybe some of you in chat or listening to the episode audio can pick it up if you never grabbed the PSV version. I don't know how hard that version is to get now, but it's always nice when things are more accessible, right? We want things to be accessible to people that maybe didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
PS3, didn't grab the game then. Also, hooking up your PS3 If it's
Or
been in storage,
360.
it's been a pain. Or 360. I don't have a 360, so it doesn't exist to me.
Fine.
But yeah, always easier if it's accessible on PC.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember that like the one thing I remember about El Shaddai is that there was this really famous fancy pair of jeans that was released like as a promo item, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, these fancy jeans!"
Mm-hmm.
Because the guy inexplicably looks like he's wearing jeans in
Yes.
the game. I'm like, why? Such a weird design choice, but why not? Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright. So it looks like that's all our news, but there is some news in the chat too. There was
Yes.
there
And if
was
you're still
yeah.
here, feel free to put in some news now. We'll read through what you got. So, Marcus, what do we have?
The first one was from Bunny Cartoon saying that they're pumped about Gunbuster getting English Blu-ray. That was
Yes.
announced recently on what was it, Discotex thing?
Yeah, discotheque. They're doing a lot of really great stuff to revive like older releases like anime stuff and things that maybe are out of print. I know they're working on Samurai Troopers as well. It used to be called Ronin Warriors, which is like really nostalgic for me because I used to love Ronin Warriors. So that's very exciting. Yeah, Gunbusters is very famous, but I've never seen it. So very cool to see them doing that. It's always cool to see like they do like a big info dump on Twitter and they're
Yes.
like, okay, all these release updates, and it's like, whoa, blown away by all the stuff they're doing.
Yeah, I don't really care for anime these days, but I like Discotex releases. Stop it. I like Discotex releases because it's like, yes, here's some old stuff that I care about or am more interested in seeing. So yeah, I'm excited in
Oh,
general.
and yeah, Bounty Cartoon mentions the Ronin Warriors dub is actually going to be on the new
Oh,
Blu-ray.
cool. That's
So if you
fun.
want to
That's
relive
fun.
that, that's really, it was one of those ones, yeah, like that Ronin Warriors. I don't think it was as bad as, was it? I don't think it was for kids, Bunny Cartoon. Well, no, it wasn't like what I
Probably
remember
not.
is being as hardcore, like localized as some things, where it's like taking the Pokemon Onigiri and making it a donut, but it was
Yes.
still like pretty heavily changed. So it's like, they call it Ronin Warriors, which is not, it's a different name in Japanese. So it might be fun to go back and listen to that dub.
Yeah. Let's see. There was also Capsule J brought up he's excited about the Nintendo Indies that were just launched. Like, because there was that indie
Yes.
showcase, but it wasn't just like, here's some announcements. It was also like, here's games out today, like they
Oh,
love to do.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Boyfriend Dungeon
Hmm.
dropped. That's I know we were talking before the show actually, and we were like, I think everybody will want us to discuss Boyfriend Dungeon because that seems something that both of us would be into, but surprisingly neither of us are super interested in it. We're not sure why, but we're both kind of like, I'm sure it's great. It's by Kit Fox Games. I can't remember what else they did,
Hmm.
but I actually follow their old community manager on Twitter. She's very cool, Victoria Tran. So she used to work for them, and so I kind of heard about a lot of the Boyfriend Dungeon stuff through her promoting it, and then she
Hmm.
moved and is now working on Among Us, is the community manager for Among Us.
Nice.
So that's cool. That's all I know about that. I think Kit Fox did some other really cool stuff, but I just can't remember. But Boyfriend Dungeon is like an action game. Like, so you're going into this, they call it, it's not the dungeon, the dunge. It's like some like shortened version of dungeon. You're like, your part-time job is to like go clean up this dungeon, and then you find these swords, and the swords turn into boyfriends, but they're not all the dunge, yeah, like the doge, but the dunge. And they're not all dudes though. They have
Hmm.
like non-binary characters and women and stuff too, and there's some dating elements to it. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure why the game doesn't appeal to me. There's something about it I'm not like raring to get it. Um, yeah, but all the power to anyone who's interested in it. Tell us if it's good, and then maybe we'll pick it up.
Hmm.
But there were, yeah, a bunch of other stuff, and actually that was so recent. I feel like the Nindies event happened, or they're not calling it Nindies anymore. It's
It
a
was this one was
Nintendo
called the
Indie.
Indie Showcase.
Okay. I like Nindies. That was a
I
nice name.
hate the
Maybe
word
that
Nindies.
Okay, fine. Jeez. All right, Marcus. No more Nindy. Maybe they moved away from that though, because like it's kind of like seeming like they own all of them, or that they're only on Nintendo
They've
when all
never
the stuff.
been that way though, and that's
I
why I don't
know,
like the
that's what I'm saying.
title.
That's why I'm saying they probably moved away from it because they're like, Marcus brings up a good point here that these are not Nintendo exclusive indie games, so we shouldn't say that anymore,
Yes,
right?
they listen to me.
Yeah, so there was a lot of stuff, and I feel like I didn't keep up on it well because that happened during the week while I was busy, and I was just like, oh yeah, a lot of games. Boyfriend Dungeon was like the big one. And I was like, oh well, I'm not really interested in that one, so I don't know. But there was one I was listening to. Our friends, they're not our friends in our hearts at the Next Lander podcast, Vinny and Alex, and Brad, who we like hearing their news from former Giant Bomb folks. So I was listening to the Next Lander podcast, and they were talking about the stream, and they mentioned a game that looks kind of like Jet Set Radio.
Oh
So I was
yeah.
like, that sounds, and so I wanted to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Neil Akuma says Eastward looked very cool. I'm not sure which one that is, but I'll take your word that it is cool looking. And it's funny, actually, I was just thinking, I'm always raving about the Nintendo Switch and how I have to play everything on Nintendo Switch. But then when it comes to a Nintendo Indies event where they're talking about all these Nintendo Switch games, I'm like, I don't know, I didn't pay any attention, so I'm really not being true to my love for the Nintendo
Mm-hmm.
Switch. I need to help my game here. It's just so overwhelming when they like dump a bunch of info, I already got all these games that I'm looking forward to. I can't add any more to this list.
Yeah.
As I mentioned a few episodes ago, like I actually wrote out a list in my Hobonichi. I was like, okay, these are all the games I'm interested in. That's too many games. I can't play all these, and then crossing out the ones that I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
spend the time or money on. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I think it's Funny Cartoon says it's supposed to be like a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio. Oh, that's cool. It's
Yeah.
not Eastward, right?
No,
Though I think it's a different.
the game is Bomb Rush Cyberfunk.
Yes, that's right. And it's got a really weird name. That's why I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
It's very close to Bum Rush, but that's probably on purpose. Uh, yeah. So I think that's it
Yeah.
for the news. If anyone wants to get a last word in the chat, if you have any comments, questions for us, it's not very often that we can just sit here and talk to you directly about podcasting. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to
Oops.
ask. Oops. What have
Nothing.
you done, Marcus?
Nothing.
Okay. This is what you get when you listen live. Live problem.
It's all good.
Okay. Phew. Well, this is really fun. I'm just gonna keep talking for a minute here. I really enjoy doing this. We've got this amazing setup, so I think we're gonna have to do it again sometime
Yeah.
for another special episode. I don't know. We can arbitrarily pick a special episode. It's not
Mm-hmm.
often that you get a 69. It's gonna be a long time until we get to 100 at the rate we go. So maybe we'll have to do something in between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, you're putting the thank you. Thank you for.
Yeah, that's when I said oops. You're behind, but yeah, that's when I said oops.
Thanks for watching. I'm watching it live on the stream. Bunny Cartoon asks, anything you're looking forward to next month? Games-wise or in general, life-wise? Let's see. Next month is September. So what did we say? Wario.
WarioWare is
I don't
coming
know.
out for one
Yeah.
on
And
Switch.
Diablo 2 is September, isn't it?
I think so. Oh, El Shaddai, but I'm not looking forward to that.
You're really dragging El Shaddai through the mud. El Shaddai's coming out, but I don't care about that one. Uh, you know what? I'll get my list now. Hold
Oh,
on.
Lost Judgment, says Neil. Lost
Lost
Judgment is
Judgment.
coming that quickly. I didn't even know. I still haven't played
What's,
Judgment. I still haven't played
what's,
Judgment. Sad. Very sad. I
huh?
also haven't played Yakuza Like a Dragon yet.
For some reason, I got confused. I was thinking Lost Judgment was an RPG. I think I'm thinking of Last Remnant. I know, I know.
Yakuza
Okay,
Like a
Lost
Dragon's an
Judgment.
RPG.
Yes.
Lost
I was
Judgment
thinking of
is
the
the
totally
sequel to
different game.
Judgment.
Yes, yes. Which I haven't played
Okay,
either.
fine. Okay, fine. You're looking at your list right
Where's
now.
I'm looking for my list. Where is it? I'm flipping through my whole
I don't
Bonichi
know where
live
your
on
list
air here.
is.
My manual list. Okay, September. Oh, that's it. WarioWare and Diablo 2 is all I've written on.
Amazing, and there's more than that, but
That's what I. Well, there's Olympia Soiree, which I will say I am very excited for because I've played a bit of the Japanese version. That's all I'll say about that. I'm going to be though on the launch stream on Axis.
nice.
So September 9th, I believe that is. Olympia Soiree is the one where it's like maybe a bit of a tough one for a localized audience because there are different colors. It's like a caste system. You've got like the girl who is the white is like there's only one of her, and she has the ability because she's the only one left of her color clan to find whatever husband she wants of any color. And so they've got like the red people and the blue people and the green people, and they all got different like rankings in society. So that's a little, as you can probably imagine, maybe a little problematic. But I actually thought the game was really fun when I played of it. It's like very soap opera-y. So Marcus, since you like passions, I think you might be into this.
Okay.
It's just like, really fun to like read through in Japanese. I played some of the Japanese version. Uh, yeah, I felt like it hooked me more than I expected due to that premise. I was kind of like, oh, that's its own premise. She's got to get married, find a husband within a year for some reason. But yeah, it was fun. So there's that in
Yeah.
September. Anything else in September? I don't know. Boss Judgment, as Neil Akuma said, which yeah, I won't be picking up, but that looks
Mm-hmm.
exciting. Bonnie Cartoon just finished Judgment recently. It's great. That's good to hear. On my shelf right directly behind me, I have a Yakuza HD
Oh
collection
yeah.
for
Mm-hmm.
PS4 sitting there. I have never played a Yakuza game aside from a little bit of Dead Souls, which is like not the one that you
Yeah.
should play, like zombie one. Yeah, and Tales of Arise and Kina Bridge of Spirits is next month. Akuma said Tales of Arise looks really good. I haven't played a Tales game either, but I'm always interested in them. But I feel like I have more of a backlog right now than like I'm getting so excited. I'm getting overwhelmed. Ease 9 just came out
Mm-hmm.
on Switch in July, and that's one I'm like really keen to play. So I feel like I still got stuff that just came out. Pokemon Snap had that update that I covered in the last
Mm-hmm.
episode, and I really want to play that because I haven't played much of Pokemon Snap, but I was enjoying what I played of it. And then, you know, what else? Bustafellows. I'm not done Bustafellows. So there's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bunny Cartoon says the dub is awesome. Crispin Freeman and Steven Blum are in it for 90s anime
Hmm.
vibes. Oh, is this of Yakuza, isn't it? No. What are we talking about?
Yakuza's
We're
not dubbed
talking.
anymore. I'm assuming that's still a discussion about Ronin Warriors.
Sure. So the re-release of
Oh,
Yakuza doesn't
Judgment.
have the dub.
Judgment.
Oh, I didn't. Crispin Freeman's in it? Okay, cool. That's fun. I didn't realize that. Thanks, Bunny Cartoon. Add it to the list of things I need to check out. Well, yeah, I think we've covered all of the stuff we're excited for, and that brings us to the end of episode 69. Ding, 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 ding. Air horn
There
sound.
you go.
Uh, and Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th to everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Marcus, for doing all of your hard work on the stream layout and all of any of the technical stuff you're seeing right now. It's all Marcus. So, oh, MDIS playlist in the chat right for the end, getting a nice in. Thank you. And yeah, so I think we shall stop here. Thanks everybody for listening and watching, and we shall see you on the podcast feed in 2 weeks and maybe in a live stream in the future. Thanks so much and have a great rest of your week. Bye.